Hey everyone, how are we today? Just doing our weekly readings. This is actually the monthly reading, so looking ahead at January, what is in store for you for the first month of the brand new year, January 2026. Make sure you do subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date with all the regular readings. Today I'm going to be using my double deck, the Weird World Lenormand. So this is two decks in one, just so that we've got, plenty of, we do sometimes see double ups, but it gives us a bigger range of answers when we're looking through the month. Okay, timestamps will be in the description box, as I do have this in an all signs kind of a layout. I'm a little bit time restricted, in this week and next, so the videos may be a little bit shorter than what you're used to. There will be a shadow work reading coming up on the 3rd of January, so definitely keep an eye out for that one. And we're going to start off with Aries. Okay. Aries, what's going on for Aries in January? What does Aries need to know for January 2026? Start, middle, and end of January for our Aries. Okay, starting off the month quite strong here. We see the crossroad and the sun. So choosing happiness for yourself, Aries, choosing to delve a little bit deeper within yourself as well. The sun really does talk about bringing things out into the light and, examining things within yourself, those personal epiphanies coming to light, especially when it comes to, the paths that you choose this year. So it's a strong energy starting the year off here of, choosing the path that you wish to follow for the whole year, really, making resolutions and all that sort of stuff, that this is the path I want to travel this year, and I'm going to stick to it. It does appear to be that your main choice here is happiness. What makes me happy? What is going to make me happy this year? And that is the path I choose, is to, follow the happiness and really exert my free will a little bit here. If things aren't making me happy, I'm going to choose an alternate direction to move in. Okay, so starting the year off strong with that energy. The middle of the month, we do see the owls and the feminine coming through here. So running off the back of that, energy of the personal epiphanies and, bringing things out into the light, revealing things within your own self here. This shows us that you may be having, that this deeper wisdom in regard to your emotional self, your more feminine sides, the softer sides of yourself, the more nurturing sides of yourself, regardless of gender. For some of you, this is quite simply a very specific conversation happening around mid-January with a female in your life. For some of you, this is just for a couple of you, there is an important phone call or conversation taking place. There is also, with the wisdom of the owls there's, for a lot of you, you may actually be speaking to a female and getting quite a lot of wisdom from them. It's that wise old woman kind of energy coming through there. So, really in the middle of the month, they're talking things out with the matriarchal elements in your life. So whether that's your actual mother or, just strong, wise women in your energy here, because it's feeling like it's very adapting to a more nurturing of your own emotions kind of energy here. And you may be sort of finding that talking those things out with women is actually, very, very helpful to you. Even if you are a woman yourself, that there may be some, because I'm just getting a very matriarchal kind of energy, like somebody who is also already very nurturing and motherly, regardless of whether they're a mother or, they may even be younger than you, right? But they've just got this wisdom beyond their years when it comes to emotional maturity. And so talking things through with them may really, really help you, adapt your own emotional self and nurture your own emotions in a different kind of way. And it's sort of adapting to being a little bit more in touch with your own emotions and being a little bit more, wise and emotionally mature within oneself. So strong energy there as well. The end of the month, Aries, we do see the house and the mountain. Okay, so that's very stable energy. It does show us that there may be some obstacles or delays to do with your actual physical home as well. So for some of you, if you are looking at doing renovations or, doing things around the home, there may just be some delays or some barriers that are stopping you, some sort of blockage coming through here that may be prominent for the end of the month there, that you may need to sort of put something off just a little bit longer. It's also saying that, that there is, these things can be overcome with a little bit of perseverance and hard work. I just feel as though it may just take a little bit longer than you maybe wanted to. Okay. For others of you, that may be to do more so rather than the physical home. It may be more to do with your family or your sense of security within yourself. It's just maybe taking you a little bit longer than you would like to really feel that you've got that solid home base within yourself, that secure comfort zone kind of energy. You may be just needing to put in a little bit of extra work to find that. There also may be a very prominent Capricorn around your comfort zone, around your home energy at the end of the month there as well. That is the Capricorn card. Just checking in for Aries, all things. Any other messages for Aries, I suppose? Any other messages for Aries for January, please? Any other messages for Aries throughout January? Okay, so we're seeing, very similar sort of message here. We do see the feminine coming through again. All right, so that feminine energy is very, very important to you in January here. So, we spoke about that in the middle of the month there, but that is actually, directly impacting you in a huge kind of a way this month. So it's very important to pay attention to the feminine energy throughout January there, especially here with the lilies coming on the back of that as well. So we do see a lot of emotion, taking precedence here, and it's a long-term energy. It's nurturing your emotions in a long-term way, like, being a little bit more vulnerable with oneself and a little bit more intimate and honest with yourself about what you're feeling on an emotional level, and nurturing those emotions and finding that it's having, long-term impacts on you in a very positive way here. It helps stabilize you very, very muchly here, because we have the anchor coming through there as well. So, it's very reliable energy, knowing that this will actually enable you to, see your way through any storms that come your way in the future. It's very, stabilizing your emotions and your vulnerabilities within yourself, so it's very important to pay attention to that feminine energy there throughout the month of January. Okay, Aries. So that's what we're seeing for you. You are more than welcome to check other prominent placements. Definitely subscribe to the channel, and we will see what's going on for Taurus. Okay. Taurus, what's going on for Taurus throughout January? January messages for Taurus. Okay, Taurus, start, middle, and end of January 2026. Oh, wow. Okay. The start of January here, we do see the moon and the rats, okay, coming through here. So there is entering the year in this energy where, you are a little bit sensitive emotionally when it comes to losses that you maybe have suffered in the past here, things that have stressed you out and still kind of eat away at your energy a little bit here. I just feel like for a lot of you, there may just be this rehashing kind of energy at the start of the month here where you're, you know, maybe looking back through 2025 and focused a little bit backwards on the past and things that have, you know, impacted you in the sense of loss and grief and stress and those sorts of things. There may just be a few little instances throughout the start of the month here where, you know, your emotions are just a little bit heavy and very easily surfacing when it comes to the past. So just be very, very aware of that and not allowing that to overpower you throughout the year, because it feels like you do sort of get control of that relatively quickly, Taurus, but it does seem to be the prominent energy for the start of the year. So it's kind of like this energy, Taurus, where you're, you know, as an example of like New Year's resolutions, right? In order to set yourself a path for 2026, you start thinking back about, you know, the past year, the past couple of years, and you're like, well, where have I been? And you kind of get stuck in the memories, and you get stuck in the past losses, rather than remembering to recenter yourself that, hang on, I was only looking at that as an example of, hang on, well, where do I not want to go, you know? And so you're finding yourself very easily sort of trapped in memory and rehashing things and having things popping up a little bit from the past and dragging you back into the emotions of the past. But try to remember that this is the past, okay? And your intuition is trying to, it's kind of feeling like, you know, it is bringing this up a little bit sensitive within your emotions, specifically to, you know, clear that out. So allow the clear out to happen. That yes, it's okay to feel those things and get a little bit stuck in that energy, but it needs to predominantly be in order to move ourselves forwards. All right. So in order to refocus and go forwards, so that we're not stuck in that energy anymore, that we're not holding on to those things from the past. You know, but it does feel as though there may be, I'm picking up for a couple of you, that with the moon there, the moon sometimes, you know, holds secrets as well. So, you know, things that have been hidden in the darkness of the past here. So for some of you, there is kind of maybe like a little bit of an understanding or something coming to light a little bit here that about something that's happened in the past, and that's sort of making you rehash all that stuff. So for some of you, you may just be getting something popping up from the past in that kind of a way, where it's you're seeing something that was previously hidden in the darkness there, and that sort of makes you look at it all over again. So just don't allow that to drag you under, and make sure you're refocusing yourself back towards you know, the future year rather than stuck in the past year. The middle of the month looking much better for you, Taurus. We do see the fish and the garden. Okay, so this is networking. All right, so I do feel like for a lot of you, in the middle of the month, your work, your career, that kind of stuff is going to be a predominant energy for you. The material stuff in your world is going to be a little bit more important here. The garden is very much social energy though as well. It is, you know, it can be work meetings and events where you're networking and things like that, and you know, attending meetings that are, you know, financial based meetings, those sorts of things. But for a lot of you, there is a social element coming in here as well, some sort of public space or social element. So it could be something to do with social media, finding some sort of, you know, I'm picking up for a couple of you, it's potentially like revenue streams through social media or some sort of public, you know, more public based structure. You know, you're getting yourself out there, you know, putting your face out there a little bit more, you know, when it comes to money. To be honest, it does feel like money, but for a lot of you here, it could just be like material events, like material things taking place, sort of networking on a material level. Like I'm just trying to think of an example for you, but it's not really giving me one. But it is saying something about materialism and, you know, meeting meeting material options. So you might be having meetings that have got to do with things like, I keep hearing cars for some reason. Like that's a material thing. So it's a lot of real world stuff, a lot of networking type energy there in the middle of the month for you, Taurus. And then at the end of January here, we've got quite an interesting energy coming through for you. We have the Coffin and the Tower coming through here, Taurus. The Coffin shows us that certain things that have come to an end, and we're now reestablishing our foundations and, having a new beginning. And it's a death and a rebirth that changes our foundation, our core, our structure. Okay, so there's something changing or has changed already. It is linking up with that emotion at the start of the month there. So you may realize towards the end of January that, whatever you've been through in the past and whatever you kind of get a little bit stuck on at the start of the month here, it does actually change something in the structure of your life, of yourself, the way that you approach things. This is a very foundational card. The way that you stand tall and like it's telling me fortitude, and it's because it's not so much isolation, it's fortitude and standing tall and strong and independently. And it's changing something within the foundation of how you're standing tall by yourself kind of thing. But you're not necessarily by yourself. You're not isolated, but it's the foundation of how you are as a very independent kind of energy. It feels like you're not having to rely on others as much anymore. You're gaining a little bit of confidence with, the structure of yourself, the foundation of yourself, your core here. So whatever you've gone through at the start of the month there, it does actually provide some sort of structural change to the way that you face things and the way that you stand more confidently within yourself. It seems like there, Taurus, especially too with that networking energy in the middle of the month, that it feels like you kind of start to realize at the end of the month, wow, like I really have actually, grown and developed a lot more confidence in myself and the way that I am structuring myself and structuring my life, and no longer sort of hiding from things in certain ways here. Is there anything else Taurus needs to know for the month of January? Any other messages for Taurus for January, please? So we have the anchor coming out first for you here. So overall, this is all about gaining, a reliability of within yourself. That's what this structure is that you're gaining here. A greater sense of, I can rely on myself. I can depend on myself. I can hold myself steady. I can regulate my own emotions. We have the moon here as well coming through once again, but it shows us, you're much more holding yourself steady with your emotional self and trusting your intuition a little bit there, and trusting that that will actually stir up good things for you and bringing forth better energies for you and new ideas and perspectives on how to look at things. So whatever's going on for you this month, Taurus, it really is creating this structure of a lot more reliability of self and knowing that you can depend on yourself, and that, trusting that your ideas are good as well. There's something definitely coming through about, your ideas are good, and you really start to have more faith in your own self and the structure of your perspective being, just as important as anybody else's, and you are then able to start shifting yourself into new areas in new kinds of ways that you maybe didn't have the confidence to in the past, Taurus. So overall, very, very sort of strong energy, even though it might feel like it's starting off a little bit rough. it is all for this reason of strengthening your foundation of self, which is definitely a positive in the long run for you there, Taurus. But you're more than welcome to check your other strong placements, of course. Subscribe to the channel, and we will check out what's going on for Gemini. Okay, Gemini, what's going on for Gemini throughout January? January messages for Gemini, please. Start, middle, and end of January for our Geminis. Been waiting for that to happen with this deck, Gemini. I may need to clarify this one because what we're seeing for the start of the month for you, we have the Fox and the Fox. Okay, so very, very strong energy of this Fox energy. This is, I do actually have the Fox symbol tattooed on me because I have the 3 here. So I've got the heart for heart, I've got the fox for brain, and I've got the bear for soul. Okay, so mind, body, soul, basically. Mind, heart, soul. The fox is your mind, your brain, your intelligence, your thinking very rationally, doing what you need to do for you. Okay, it's a very clever energy, but it can be a little bit tricksy, a little bit sometimes, because it's like the car salesman. It's like a trade, like a somebody making a trade offer here, where they know that they're not going to sell themselves short. They're going to maybe offer you something, but they're going to make sure they're getting what they need out of the deal as well. So that's what you're doing at the moment. You're being this little car salesman where you're making sure you're getting something out of the deal. You're not going to sell yourself short at the start of the month. You're being very clever and intelligent with the way that you're approaching things. You're putting yourself and your own needs first. Very independent, strong energy in that sense. Just be aware, you may... I do feel here, Gemini, for a couple of you, you are going to be accused of being selfish at some point in the start of the year here, because that's sometimes how this fox energy is perceived by others. It's not selfishness, it's doing what you need to do to survive and putting your own needs first, which, if you don't put your needs first, who is going to, really? So it's a very logical thing to do, but sometimes it is perceived as selfishness. And I do feel as though there is a couple of you that someone is going to actually say that to you during the start of the month. I am just going to clarify that and see why we're in such a foxy energy there. Clarify that double fox for Gemini, please, at the start of January. Sorry about that helicopter in the background. We have the anchor and the fish. Okay, the fish is your card as well. So it's kind of this energy of the only person I can rely on is myself. I know that I can only rely on myself, and I'm going to do what I need to do to make sure my money and my material, my reality is good. I'm taking care of business kind of thing. For a lot of you, it's just definitely just I'm taking care of business kind of energy, making sure I've got what I need before I start giving to anyone else. I know that I need to rely on myself before I can rely on anyone else. I can depend on me before I can depend on anybody else. So it's just a very strong energy of taking care of oneself. I do feel that for a lot of you, it's in a very materialistic kind of a way, because, the fox as well as the fish are very materialistic. A lot of you may be job-centered, career-centered kind of energies, but it talks about, taking care of your money, making sure your money's good, making sure you get what you need, all those sorts of things. For a lot of you, it could be very, very heavily related to job, career stuff at the start of the month here as well, but you're just doing what you need to do to make sure you are all good. All right. I can rely on myself before I rely on anyone else. So it's that energy of, if you want something done right, do it yourself. And that's kind of the energy you're in at the start of January here, Gemini, which, you know, like I said, it's not a bad thing. Okay, it's not necessarily a bad thing. We all need to take care of ourselves before we have space to take care of anybody else. And you're just owning that at the start of January. The middle of the month for you, Gemini, we do have the letter and the woman. So this is quite interesting because this is telling me straight away that rather than actual communication, this is an expression. It's an expressive energy with the letter here. And you're expressing your femininity. All right. So regardless of your gender, I don't like to sort of genderize the woman and the male in the Lenormand. It talks about your feminine side. We all have masculine and feminine, and this is the softer side of yourself, the side of yourself that nurtures and protects, you know, the emotions of yourself, and you're being very expressive on an emotional level, and it's coming straight off the back of this fox energy too. So it's very much like, well, you know, if I have to rely on myself, then I have no shame in expressing how I truly feel about things, because I'm not going to stand for somebody treating me badly or anything like that. I'm going to express my feelings on the matter and stand up for myself, you know. So it's very expressive, but there may be just, you know, some sort of expression. I'm getting a lot of creativity coming through with that as well. But you're kind of nurturing yourself and taking care of yourself in a very, you know, we're going from the logical and rational starting there, but then finding that is actually allowing you to express yourself in very creative ways, in very, you know, in touch with your own feminine energy as well. That you're taking care of your emotional side as well and expressing that to others, that, you know, what I want and what I deserve matters. It's I'm standing up for myself kind of energy there. I'm taking care of me, and part of taking care of me is taking care of my emotional self. Okay, so you're doing a really good job with that in the middle of the month there as well. The end of the month, I feel like this is a very standalone notification for you here. That's the phrasing coming through for you here, Gemini. This is a standalone notification coming through. Okay, we have the rats and the child. Okay, so we see the return of the past, and it's something very immature, something that was not full grown in your life, something that ended before it even really began, is coming back around at the end of January here. Can I get some clarity on the end of January for Gemini? It just feels like a very childish, immature energy. It was an idea, something that we have the stork and the stars clarifying that. So the stars is something that you had hope or optimism that things would turn out really well, you know, and it's like something got stirred up and then it kind of ended before it ever really began. I feel for a lot of you, it may have been like an idea that you had, something that, you know, oh, I had this really great idea, but, you know, I really wished it would work out, but it ended before it even began. But there's an opportunity here coming back around at the end of the month. It's coming back. It's coming back from the past. The return of something from the past, an idea or a dream of something that you had. It's like an idea of a dream, even an idea of a wish that you had, that you closed off to it before it ever really began. It was lost to you before it ever really, you know, you lost hope in something before it ever really began. And it's coming back around again though. And I feel like this time around that there's a little bit more hope, a little bit more optimism that this, hang on, well, now that I'm stirring this up again, this might actually develop, it might actually mature into something, and no longer be stuck in the past here. So that's going to be a little bit different for everyone. It's not really clarifying further than that. I'm picking up that it might be like a business idea that you've had in the past or a new way of doing things. And it's like, for some reason, it just never matured at the time. It it was never like really enacted. It was very it was just like the beginning of something, and then it got kind of sidelined. And it's coming back around at the end of January here for you. So that'll be interesting, if nothing else. Any other messages for Gemini in January? Any other messages for our Geminis throughout January, please? Just wanting to keep talking about that at the end of the month there, because we have the rats again, followed by the garden. So it's asking me to delve a little bit deeper into that. With the garden there, it's something, it may have been a hope or something stirred up to do with social media, or there's a chance meeting that's taking place with someone from your past. And so now that chance meeting is taking place, now things can be stirred up and move forward and matured a little bit more. So for some of you, it may actually have to do with a person. But once again, I'm not feeling it's like, I'm feeling it's more along the lines of career for a lot of you here, Gemini. That, you maybe had a dream or a goal in the past, that you had an idea about a goal that you might have for your career, but it never got off the ground. But now you're running back into someone, you're meeting someone from the past. It could be a past job for some of you here. You're having a meeting with someone about, well, okay, well, now something's changed, because it feels like something has changed. And now those ideas are more valid. And because it could be something like a past job that you're, re-interviewing with, or like you were going to interview with a company in the past, but it didn't happen. And now that chance, you're meeting and running into someone, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, actually, yeah, I've actually got an even better offer for you now, Gemini. Something along those lines. And it actually brings you closer to that goal, that aspiration that you had an idea of in the past here. And there's a lot more opportunity for this to actually mature into something in the future. Okay, so that's what we're seeing for you. I do feel for a lot of you, it is going to be focusing on, reality and material stuff for you this month, and career-based stuff. Your career and money does seem to be highlighted for you there throughout January, Gemini, but that's what we've got for you. You are more than welcome to check your other placements, of course. Definitely subscribe to the channel, and we will move on over to Cancer. Pardon. Cancer, what's going on for Cancer throughout January 2026? Start, middle, and end of January for our Cancers. Start, middle, and end. Oh my gosh. That happened in the Gemini reading. We had double up. I'm going to definitely have to clarify your messages today, Cancer. Starting off the month with the fish and the masculine. So that's just one. It's just giving me one clear message here, that it's got to do with a businessman. All right, and I don't generalize the masculine and feminine here, but it's very logical, rational energy, very boss kind of vibes, very money focused, very material world focused, very taking care of business energy here. For some of you, it could be a Gemini. Clarify why that's the main energy for Cancer at the start of January, please. A lot of you may be on the cusp of Gemini. We have the fox here as well. This is definitely some sort of businessman in your energy at the start of the month, or whether this is you very, very focused on business kind of energy, taking care of business kind of energy, very, very focused on your own abundance and wealth and financial situation, and how can I take care of myself on that sort of a level. What do I need to do to take care of business here? It's definitely something about taking care of businessman type vibes. Very, very important energy for some reason at the start of January here, Cancer. For some of you, this is somebody external to you. It's not really wanting to talk about why it's so important. It's very important in order to keep yourself very focused on your independence, your intelligence, logical thinking, the things that you need to do for yourself. It's kind of this energy of just very focusing on business and sorting out yourself and your life and your year in a very logical, business-like manner, a very professional manner. You're taking care of business, and it's wanting you to just really focus in on, how do I take care of business? What do I need to do to take care of myself? I don't want to sell myself short this year. I want to take care of business. It's just saying the same things over and over here. The middle of the month, we see the scythe and the garden. This is a sudden meeting. Oh, actually, it's not the... Okay, so that changes the thing. It's the broom, okay? Sorry, when I first saw that, it looked like the scythe, but it's the broom, which is the whip in the traditional decks, which is, it's clearing out drama more than anything. Clearing out drama in your social life for a lot of you. It's kind of like you're distancing yourself in the middle of the month from social engagements. Once again, it's very, very focusing on being very business-like and professional this month. You're like, social engagements just cause me drama. I just want to focus on the business meetings, and I'll go to this meeting if it's business, but if it's just to catch up and have a coffee, I don't know about that. That's just too much drama for me to handle right now. That's too much tension. There might be for some of you, there may be an argument with, like it kind of feels like a public argument, or a public, like in a public space. Could be a social media kind of thing, and you're kind of like, I don't want to borrow that. I want to steer clear of that. I want to get rid of that out of my energy. I'm focusing on, how do I sweep that under the rug? How do I sweep that out of my life? Whatever this tension, drama, it could be on social media. Clarify this for Gemini in the middle of, for Cancer, sorry. Like I said, you do have strong Gemini energy, especially at the start of January there. Some of you may have strong Gemini placements, or be on the cusp. Clarify for Cancer in the middle of January. Yeah, you're just like, just get moving, get it out of my life. We have the ship there. you kind of like, sweep it out of my life, clear it out of my life. I'm ready to move forward. I don't want to hold on to this stuff anymore. I don't need to deal with that. I'm focused forward. I'm moving forward. I don't want to borrow all. I'm sweeping out anything that no longer serves me, anything that brings drama, tension, conflict, especially if it's like social meetings or things like that, social spaces, public spaces, anything that affects your public image. You're like, no, I don't want to borrow that. Sweep it out of my life. Clear it out. Get rid of it, because I'm moving forward. I'm focusing forward. Once again, very professional kind of energy there. Very, very forward focused on a professional kind of sense, that, very logical, rational energy coming through for you. But then the end of the month, Cancer, we have the cross coming through twice. I am straight away going to clarify this before I delve into that, because there is two very distinct meanings that card can carry. And because I'm seeing it doubly, I do want to just double check before we move forward. Clarify the double cross for Cancer at the end of January, please. It does, straight away, it does feel like there is some sense of destiny very strong here. So it is kind of both meanings, to be honest, here. Because, firstly, the cross is very spiritual, very destined energy, very fated. This is fate kind of thing. We're following the path of fate. We're trusting in the universe. And we know that there's things going on behind the scenes that, the universe is putting things in place so that we will meet our destiny. So there's very, very strong spiritual connotations here. But it does lead you to this sense of duty, this sense of responsibility, burdens even, this cross to bear kind of thing. It's very interesting because when I've clarified that, we have the rats, the clover, and the clouds. So something from the past that you have lost faith in, something in the past that you have lost hope in, lost faith in, you're now actually thinking about reinvesting or taking a chance on that. And it's very, very heavy on your mind at the end of January here, Cancer, where it's kind of like with the clover and the clouds here, you're really weighing up. The clover is usually a, dive in head first kind of energy, but you're thinking it through so much here. You're overthinking it. Instead of just jumping on in, you're really just thinking about it. You're just overthinking it because you're overthinking every single little possibility, good and bad. But I do feel as though, it's kind of coming through with this dual message of it's something that feels like a burden, but it also feels like fate. And that's why you're in this clouds energy, because you're like, on one hand, awesome. On the other hand, ugh. So it's something that is at the same time treacherous and burdensome, that you feel that this is your responsibility to invest in this. It kind of feels inevitable, and that's the burden. The responsibility is because you feel like it's inevitable, especially with the cross here, because it feels like it's fated, like you can't avoid this. And it's something, it's a lost opportunity, like a lost chance, something that you lost faith in having a chance at, and you just cannot stop thinking about it. Why is this so important for Cancer at the end of January, please? Why is this so important for Cancer at the end of January? And can you clarify what exactly is it? Clarify what exactly is this for Cancer at the end of January? why it's so important is the book, because of the fact that you can't stop thinking about it, because you know that this is, you seem to just know that this is the next chapter of your life because of the fated energy around it. And it's like, that's why you're overthinking it so much, because you're trying to kind of like research both options as much as you can, even though you know that you really only have one option here. It's inevitable. So but you're trying to sort of plan it out as much as you can. Like, it's kind of like you're trying to write the story. You already know what exactly is going to happen, but you're trying to really write it out in your own words so that it's exactly the way that you want it to be, not drawn to so much inevitability, that you're trying to really research every single possibility here so that you educate yourself on exactly what's going to happen, kind of thing, even though you know it's inevitable. And what exactly is it? We have the Sun and the Rider. Something being revealed to you is on the way, and something that you know that you're going to have to move towards, because that's what truly makes you happy. There's a happiness that you're moving towards with this. And that's why it's fated, I feel, because you know that you will never be happy without this in your life. But you're just getting really, really caught up in the overthinking and the need to, understand every little thing about it before you actually are willing to move towards it, even though you know that that's happiness. So it's kind of like you're trying to plan every little thing out. You're trying to research every little thing as much as you can, know as much as you can about this before you move towards it, even though you know that it's inevitable that you will move towards it. And you know that it is going to bring you a lot of happiness to move towards it, but there's still this hesitancy because it does still feel like a bit of a burden. Why does it feel like such a burden to Cancer here? Okay, right. At the bottom of the deck, we've got the Mountain. So because there's so much work involved, we have the Ring in the Coffin. So it's a relationship that has ended, a lost chance at a relationship that had ended. So the relationship ended. Once again, I'm getting very, very similar energy to what we saw for Gemini, like something that ended before it really even began. But here's the chance for the transformation, the rebirth, and that's where the hard work comes in order to transform this into what it is supposed to be. To transform this into what is inevitable and what is fated is going to take a lot of hard work. And there's a lot of obstacles that you need to overcome in order to do that. So even though you want to jump on in head first, you're really trying to plan it out and think it out and research what's the best way to do this, what's the best way to move towards this. Because I've got this responsibility. I feel like, I hate to say it, Cancer, but it feels like a lot of you have got the responsibility to fix this, because maybe you're the one that broke this, lost this. You feel like you're the one that lost this opportunity in the past. So you're the one that needs to put in the work to fix this before you do move forward. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a romantic relationship. It might be some other sort of partnership, contract, other sort of relationship that we're looking at there. But that's what we're seeing for you, Cancer. You definitely might want to check out your other placements and see what comes through for those. But interesting month for you, Cancer. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as well, and we will move on over to Leo. Okay, Leo, what's going on for Leo in January? January messages for our Leos, please. Start, middle, and end of January. Okay. Interesting energy here, Leo. Starting January off here, we do have the rats and the cross coming through. So lost faith, a loss of faith. What is this in? What? Something from the past that you've lost. I'm hearing the word resurrection as well. You've lost faith in this resurrecting because you lost it in the past. It's something that's been lost to you in the past. We see the clouds and the broom coming through there when I asked what this is in regard to. It holds a lot of anxiety and tension, and drama. The clouds is anxiety and even depression, to be honest. Overthinking, tension and drama, and can you show me what exactly is this for Leo? Is this internal or an event or what? Clarify. The love and the cross again. Like the heart and the cross the second time. It feels more like with it's like it does feel more internal. It's to do with your I don't feel like it's got to do with actual person or anything like that. It's to do with the way that you love yourself, I think. And a loss of faith in yourself, a loss of trust in yourself. There's this strong sense of duty, and it's like a burden on your heart. The responsibility to love yourself in a different kind of way, but there's a lot of anxiety and tension, like punishing oneself because you're overthinking things. There's a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, a lot of tension and drama and conflict. Very conflicted between your sense of spirituality and faith in oneself is conflicting with, your sense of honor and duty and responsibility. This is some heavy energy, Leo. And, for a lot of you, I keep getting depression as well. That I feel like the responsibility and obviously anxiety and depression, there is a lot of burden there with those and mental health and the way that we love ourselves, feelings of self-worth and things like that. Feel as though you've lost a lot of faith in oneself. I feel like this is really asking you to really bring this into attention for yourself this year, just in general. And at the start of January, this is really sort of coming under the microscope for you here, Leo, of, what can I do? And I really need to, find love for myself and find a sense of self again. Because in the middle of the month here, we see the anchor in the book. So this is about learning how to rely on oneself and learning more about how I can depend on myself, and that I have to depend on myself and teach myself how to love myself, kind of thing. And that coming compounded once again at the end of the month with the tree in the book, learning how to take care of oneself, learning how to grow and heal. This has got to do with self-love. And a lot of you may be really, really trying to work out, what do I need to do? What do I need to learn in order to overcome depression and anxiety issues and those sorts of things? How do I clear this conflict out of myself? How do I stop punishing myself? I feel like this is something that it all starts with, like a loss of faith in oneself. And you kind of, and I'm hearing the phrase, it's with a heavy heart. I understand that I need to really start educating myself and learning, doing the research on how to stabilize myself, how to rely on myself and depend on myself for my own well-being and my own growth and healing. So pretty heavy stuff, Leo. Aside from self, what else does Leo need to know for January, please? What else does Leo need to know for January? A lighter one, please. It's a transformational energy for you this month, honestly. We have the feminine, the bear, and the coffin there as well. So we see, nurturing oneself, nurturing healthy boundaries, finding the softer sides of ourselves and taking care of those, protecting that softer side of oneself, transforming through learning more about how to do this and how to take care of oneself, how to heal oneself. It's a transformational energy. Something about the way that you have been protecting your emotions and the way that you look after yourself needs to change, needs to transform, and you do need to maybe learn a little bit, other ways of taking care of yourself. For some of you, with the book coming through twice, there may even be like actual learning that you can do in order to do this. This is like going to, self-improvement classes or something along those lines, learning from others, learning through spiritual pursuits, definitely with double cross coming through for you there as well. You may be learning, about a religion or something along those lines, a spiritual pursuit that really helps you encapsulate this growth within yourself, this healing that you're wanting to take care of for yourself. It's a transformative energy. It's transforming yourself from this energy that you have, been stuck in the past of hating oneself and not loving oneself and punishing oneself and being in constant conflict within your own heart space. And it's a real healing, it's a real transformation for you this month. But I'm not gonna lie, it's going to be heavy. This first month of January is going to be a heavy one. So I'm sorry, Leo. I do empathize. I am a Leo rising, so this will affect me in some way as well. So I definitely empathize with you there, Leo. But you're more than welcome to check your other placements and see if that can help add a layer of information for you as well. But good luck, Leo. You're more than welcome to reach out. All my info's in the description box. If you're after a personal reading on how that might impact you personally, reach out for a personal reading. All my info in the description box, and we will move on over to our Virgos. Okay, Virgo, what's going on for Virgo in January? January messages for our Virgos, please. Start, middle, and end of January for Virgo. Oh, okay. Now that we've moved on from the Leo energy, Virgo, we seeing a lot of positive energy for you. This one popped out. It kind of flew out of the deck there. We have the crossroad coming through as a bit of an overview for the month, I feel, for a lot of you here. So that's got to do with your free will. That is choices that you're making, decisions that you're making. So I dare say January will be a month where you're making some big decisions about what path you're taking this year. Those New Year's resolutions are going to mean a lot for you this year. You're making some, exerting your free will and choosing what path you're going to walk this year, and choosing to walk a much happier path than you have in the past. At the start of January, we see the sun and the dog. You're staying loyal to happiness. There may be some, I am picking up for a couple of you, there may be some sort of epiphanies being brought to you from friends. The dog is the card of friendship, of people that are very loyal and supportive of you, but they may be bringing some things to light for you that really help you choose the path of happiness this month. Because these people are very supportive and whatnot. There's a lot of happiness with friends in general this month, for the start of January especially. Happy times with friends, happy times, with that support, that reliability, that dependability that you're getting there from friends is definitely strong. But I do feel like a couple of them may be sort of dropping some truth bombs and making you kind of bring some stuff to light within yourself and have some epiphany sort of stuff, especially when it comes to what decisions you're making and what path you're currently on versus what path you want to be on here, Virgo. So try not to take those negatively, because they're coming from a place of support. And I want to help you, Virgo. I want you to be happy, Virgo. And I'm seeing where you're not happy, and I'm trying to help you make choices for your own happiness here, Virgo. The middle of the month, we see the heart and the scythe. So some big changes being made for you this month as well. Once again, this is decisions that you're making maybe quite impulsively, because you're choosing to follow your heart in the middle of the month, and you may actually, cut some stuff out. This is the energy of cutting out things that aren't happy, cutting out things that aren't bringing you love and happiness. And that's it. I'm cutting that out. I'm breaking free from that. I'm going to make some sudden changes in my life here so I can get and be on the path that I want to be. So I'm making some very, maybe rash decisions, very impulsive decisions, but it's because you're, listening to your heart, Virgo, and following what your heart is telling you, and following the love and the happiness this month is definitely recommended here with that. We do see at the end of the month, we have the garden and the mountain. So we have meeting challenges head on, willing to put in the hard work. Okay, social structures may actually help you. There's a lot of teamwork coming through with that energy as well at the end of the month there. Clarify the end of January for Virgo, please. Like any obstacles that you're facing, we have the sun. So happiness, once again, that you're meeting those challenges head on. You're putting in the hard work, and you're relying on teamwork as well, relying on your social structures, public faces may be important here as well to bring you happiness, to do things in a very public, social way. So some of you may be doing things, to do with, social media and things like that. You may be for someone here, there is a delay in an event. There's an event that you're waiting for at the end of January. It may be delayed, okay? But ultimately, there's a lot of happiness here. We're seeing so much happiness for you this month. It's like happiness through putting in the work, and that will really stabilize you this month as well. We've got the anchor there as well, knowing that you can rely on happiness to guide you, and knowing that you're making decisions and willing to put in the hard work to get to your own happiness. Okay, so really trusting your heart this month, Virgo. as well as, following the path of happiness. Following the path of happiness seems to be the main message wanting to come through here, but also being willing to put in the hard work and being willing to put in teamwork as well. Definitely strong there for you at the end of the month as well, Virgo. So pretty short and sweet messages for you, but you are more than welcome to check your other placements as well. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and we will move on over to Libra. Libra, what's going on for Libra throughout January? January messages for our Libra, please. What does Libra need to know throughout January 2026? Start, middle, and end of January for Libra. Oh my gosh. I'm getting lots of doubles coming out here. For some reason, this is telling me this is important. We have the book at the bottom of the deck there. So learning. This is a month of learning for you. It's feeling like an overview message. A month of learning where mysteries are revealed as well. You're kind of, it's finding the deeper mysteries of the universe. Things that have been previously unknown to you, you're now learning more about those things. Education is important for a lot of you this month. Start of the month, we have the Cross and the Rider coming through here, Libra. Destiny is on its way. Destiny is on its way. It's coming bearing good news. The universe, have faith. The universe is bringing good news your way this month. It's destiny, things that are supposed to happen, that there's things going on behind the surface that are actually coming towards you sooner than you think for a lot of you too. And it's giving me that with great power comes great responsibility message as well, that there is a sense of duty that's coming in here too. That rider sometimes is like a knight in shining armor, but as you can imagine, a knight has certain responsibilities. They're not just a bringer of good news. They also have this responsibility to, sometimes bring bad news, and also sometimes, just get back up on that horse even when they don't want to and keep on riding. I do feel there is a lot of hard work for you this month because we see the mountain coming through in the middle of the month here. So there is a lot of hard work here, but it's all in the pursuit of fulfilling your own destiny. And with great power comes great responsibility. So, you have this responsibility to put in the work to meet that. The obstacles, the blockages that you're facing in the middle of the month here, we also have the ring and the snake came out together. So that's like an Ouroboros. Those two together is like an Ouroboros, okay? Like the never-ending snake, infinite energy, okay? Where the beginning is the end and the end is the beginning. So it's like this loop of, it's kind of like a loop or a contract of illusion is this obstacle that you're facing this month. It feels like a contract, like a contract where there's like a loophole in there that is somewhat deceitful, somewhat. So definitely make sure you're checking over any paperwork or contract stuff that you're signing on to in the middle of the month here. Find those loopholes. Make sure you see through any deceitful energy here. But it's also, the beginning is just the end, and the end is just the beginning, and that is somehow the obstacle here as well. That it's a loop. That it's continual. It's not. There's no end. And that's part of what the blockage, the obstacle is, the delays here, is that there is no actual end in place. That this is going to keep repeating itself. What advice for Libra in regards to the middle of January, please? Advice for Libra in regards to mid-January. Interesting. We have the ring coming back again, doubling up, confirming the ring. And the snake, we have the ring and the tower. So there's something to do with, for a lot of you, this is specifically a contract. It may be some sort of governmental contract. You're needing to really stick to the structure of the contract and read the fine print, find the loopholes that are working against you here. The foundation of the contract is important. The structure of the contract is important. That's the advice to you. The advice for you with this is the contract structure and the contract's foundation, the contract's isolation for something here, the fortitude, the governmental aspects, the legal aspects, the legalities of this contract is your advice. You need to really, really look for the fine print and go over it 10 times, Libra, until you find that snake. That snake is there. You need to find that snake. That's the blockage. That's going to create delays or obstacles. So you need to go over that with a fine-tooth comb this month. And I do feel for a lot of you, this is an actual contract with the ring coming through twice, as well as that tower. The tower is a very regimented structure kind of energy. It can be governmental, legal stuff as well. So, with the legal contracting energy there's definitely some sort of contract in the middle of the month that you're needing to pay very, very close attention to, because once again, with great power comes great responsibility. So I feel like that's what it's referring to here is, here's the good news. You're destined, for a lot of you, it's like you're looking at this on the surface. It's like, this is fate. This is destiny. But then, good news. This is great. I finally got this contract. But there's a lot of responsibility. There's a hidden burden, a hidden deception thing, something hiding there that you need to watch out for, that snake in the grass. Watch out for what's going to bite you with that. The end of the month here, we have the stork and the owl coming out together. So looking for new ideas, new perspectives on what is, wise, the wiseness here, the maturity. The owls is it's the wise old owl. And the stork stirs things up. So you need to stir up the wisdom, you may need to actually get a professional, a second opinion on this contract. You may need to stir up new, fresh ideas, new perspectives on this. Look at it with a second pair of eyes. You see, both of those cards have two storks, two owls. You may need to actually, I feel like this is one storyline here for you. Two sets of eyes finds the snake. What do owls eat? What do storks eat? They can help you find that. You need to find somebody who has more wisdom to see the other perspectives, to see, to stir up the truth of the matter, to find the snake. You need to, the end of the month here, we've got the snake there. There's some sort of hidden deception or betrayal. It's hidden as something that you're so passionate about that the temptation to just sign on the dotted line is there. But you need to really, really go over this. And you even need to say, like with this covering the whole month, you even need to say, because I feel like it's something coming in at the start of the month saying, Libra, here's this thing for you. Hang on, I'll sign up the contracts and I'll get that to you. All right, the middle of the month, you get the contract. You start looking over the contract. It looks great. It probably looks great because the snake puts on a really great front and it looks great, but it's hidden under the grass, you know, and it's you need another set of eyes, I feel, and so you may even need to say here, I need to make sure I give this the full attention of myself, and I need to go over this, you know, legally as well. I need to give this to my financial advisor, my accountant, my legal team, whatever, to go over this as well before I'm willing to sign that. You need to ask for more time, because I'm seeing this going through the whole month, taking your time with this. This is taking up your whole month kind of energy here. Okay, so it's very important to give this the time that it deserves, to go over this very, very carefully. You need to go over this with a fine, you know, think about how good of an eyesight owls have. They can see in the dark. They can see anything that's hidden in the dark. That's the new perspective you need here to stir this up and find that snake, okay, so that you don't get bitten. Okay, well, that was a very specific kind of message for you there, Libra. So I really hope that helps you this month in some way, shape, or form. And do, you know, even though I am picking up very strongly on like more so a written contract, this doesn't necessarily mean that it's a written contract. It could be like something being offered to you that there's, you know, you need to still go over it with a fine-tooth comb. You need to find that hidden snake. Okay, a contract is not always a written document, okay, and it's not always to do with, it may not look like a contract. Maybe that's part of the deception, is that it doesn't look like a contract. Okay, so keep that in mind, Libra. But that's what we're seeing for you. You're more than welcome to check your other placements, of course. Definitely subscribe, and we will move over to Scorpio. Scorpio. Okay, Scorpio, what's going on for you in January? Scorpio, what's going on for Scorpio in January 2026? Start, middle, and end of January for our Scorpios, please. The first thing I'm hearing here, Scorpio, for the start of January is that acronym, the KISS acronym. Keep it simple, stupid. Okay? We have the clouds and the garden. It's like you're overthinking something on social media. That's the message I'm getting here. The clouds is overthinking. It's like creating a lot of anxiety within you, but it's something to do with something public, something social. It may be like a meeting of some sort. It could be social in the sense that it's like an event that you're going to, or a meeting that's taking place between yourself and somebody else, and you're kind of really overthinking it, Scorpio. It's like the most simple answer is the answer. It wants me to sort of tell you here, and for some of you, it's saying you're overthinking something on social media specifically. Clarify that message for Scorpio at the start of January. We have the snake and the rider. So you're telling yourself that it's something that it's not, because you're convoluting it. You're overthinking it. You're going too far into it, and it's like you're deceiving yourself because of this, because you're overthinking it so much that you're telling yourself it's this, when really, no, it was just that. It was just that little thing. And that was the base level thing, the simple thing. And that was the full extent of it. But you're overthinking it so much that you're turning it into this, you're creating this illusion of what this is, and that's what you're charging forwards with. is this illusion that it's something greater than what it actually is. It's not. I'm sorry, Scorpio, but whatever this is, it's not that deep. It's the base level thing. The very first thing that you know, as soon as you see that, what's the very first thing that, oh, what? Oh, okay, cool. Move on. Like it's asking you to kind of move on from the illusion here with the writer here, because it's not as bad as it looks. Whatever it is, it's nowhere near as bad as it looks. But you really start to overthink it, and it convolutes it into something that it's not. So go back to what was your first impression. That's probably the right answer. Okay. It's kind of like you're giving someone too much credit. You're overthinking it so much that just because you are able to overthink it so much doesn't mean that that person was. They can't overthink it that much, so they didn't think into it that deeply. They just went, boom, yep, okay. So careful of the overthinking at the start of January there. The middle of the month, we see the scythe and the cross. This is something impulsive, sudden change in your faith. Clarify the scythe for Scorpio in the middle of January, please. It's a decision. We have the crossroad here. There's a decision that you make to break free from something, cut something out of your life that actually, like it feels like you're doing something impulsively. You're choosing to do something impulsively that results in a change in your faith. I feel like for a lot of you, this is because of what we saw at the start of January there. Because you overthought something that it's like, I'm just trying to think of an example here. The first example that's coming to mind is you see somebody post something on Facebook, for example. A friend of yours posts something on Facebook. Let's just go with, they say something along the lines of, I hate fake people. And you overthink it so much that you presume that they're talking about you. And then that makes you go, that's it. I don't want you in my life anymore because you think I'm fake. So I decide to cut you out of my life. And that leads you to a change in your faith and your trust in people in some way. But you don't realize that they weren't talking about you. Keep it simple. They were just saying, I don't like fake people, and you sort of exacerbated the issue in your head and presumed, like, it's like you created a situation out of something. There was no situation there. So you sort of, because you started overthinking that you saw that, and you're like, oh, they're talking about me, and they're talking about that thing that I said, and they're talking about this, and they think that I'm fake. And that's what the illusion that you're creating here, is that this person thinks that I'm fake. But I feel like they don't. It's not about you, Scorpio. It was about something else altogether. They were at the shop and someone was acting really fake in front of them at the grocery store. And, it was just some silly little offhand comment of theirs that they hate fake people because they saw someone being fake at the shop. But it leads to you cutting someone out of your life and losing faith in your own destiny and fate, because it was like, I thought they cared and I had so much trust and faith that they were a part of my life, and It leaves you feeling a little bit broken, I feel here. That you lose faith in yourself a little bit here, Scorpio. So, I feel like this is why this message is coming through, because it wants you to know to not do this, to not overthink this. The end of the month feels separate. Advice for Scorpio throughout January with this message, please. Your advice is the fish and the house. Okay, so the wealth of comfort and safety and security within oneself. Okay, having an abundance of comfort in your own security and stability within yourself. You need to, find an abundance of security within yourself in order to avoid the snake, Scorpio. Okay, to avoid creating illusions where there are none. Is, the house is I have this, I trust that this person is part of my home, part of my family, regardless of whether they're, friends, family, loved ones, whatever. They're part of my base unit, my stability, my security. I can be secure in that relationship. I have an abundance of security in those people, in those relationships, because you do. Because if that gets broken, if you follow the path of this illusion, that gets broken. So you need to actually have a little bit more security in those relationships that are, home, part of your home base. Have a little bit more faith in those and the abundance of those in order to avoid the snake, in order to not create illusions, to be secure and stable within oneself, to not move recklessly towards illusions without knowing if it's a full illusion or not, because you're taking the temptation of reaction. This is reactive energy. So you need to stabilize yourself and stabilize, focus on home and family and, your wealth and abundance, your money, your material world. Focus on the security of those relationships in your life so that you don't create these illusions for yourself, and that you at least ask. If you see that post on Facebook and you go, oh, before you delve into this overthinking where you tell yourself it must be you, ask them, who's fake? Okay? Don't be afraid to ask the question. This is why we see that there as well. Coming in strong with, oh, good news, I hate fake people too. Who are you talking about? Ask the question. Trust them before you, before you make rash decisions. Stay stable and not overthinking things, and don't allow your thoughts to get out of the comfort zone of trust. I just feel like you're just in some reactive sort of energy this month, Scorpio. And you need to be very careful with that there, because otherwise you're going to, because now I'm hearing the phrase, check yourself before you wreck yourself. hate to say it to you, Scorpio, but the end of the month we do see the masculine and the rats coming through. It feels specifically like a male from your past. For some of you, it may have to do with this previous message where it's you've lost your sense of logic, you've lost your rational thinking. So get on top of that. Make sure we're being logical. We're not running away with our thoughts. Okay, we need to stay logical and rational within our thinking. Stay grounded, stay secure in logic and rational thinking, rather than, allowing ourselves to create scenarios and illusions of what is what is when it may not be. But for others of you, this is definitely someone from your past showing up this month. Clarify the masculine and the rats. A masculine that you've lost contact with, lost from your life. For a lot of you, it is this loss because we have the fox and the mice, the rats, clarifying the masculine and the rats. And this thing that the fox and the masculine both have in common is intelligence and logic and rational thinking. Don't sell yourself short. Stay very rational and logical with the way that you're thinking. Don't lose your sense of self in amongst all of this. You know, don't be impulsive. We're also seeing here, you know, the bear, the garden, the fox, and then the clover. So it's like, you know, you need to meet others with the same healthy boundaries that you meet yourself. Like you actually need to put some healthy boundaries on yourself as well. That you're meeting others with this sort of defensive energy rather than logical, healthy boundaries. You're kind of creating these boundaries that are too high for anyone to ever cross, Scorpio. So it wants me to say it again. Check yourself before you wreck yourself, Scorpio. Really need to keep a control of yourself this month, especially impulsivity and impulsive decisions, rash decisions. Before you jump off the deep end, think it through in a logical way, not in an overthinking everything's bad way, okay? And once again, keep it simple, stupid. The most simple answer is the answer. You don't need to overthink this. If you see it for what it is, there's not an issue here. There's nothing to react to, okay? So that's the most predominant energy coming through for you in January, Scorpio, but you are more than welcome. And I might even suggest checking your other placements as well. Okay, subscribe to the channel and we will move on over to Sagittarius. Okay, Sagittarius, what's going on for Sagittarius in January 2026 for Sagittarius? Start, middle, and end of January. Okay, Sagittarius. For some reason, 2112. 2112. So that's the solstice that we've just had. The changeover time between Sagittarius and Capricorn. And we see the Capricorn card coming through first here as well. There's something important about that solstice. For some of you, maybe that solstice reading, something may have happened on the 21st for you, Sagittarius. You may want to go back and check the solstice reading that I did. That may be very important for you to know about if you haven't watched that already. You may want to watch that one. Okay, so go back and check out that solstice reading. We have the mountain and the owls here. This is like something that you've been thinking, like you've been putting a lot of work into thinking about or talking about in a very like wise kind of a way. You're trying to do make the wisest choices. you're kind of giving this double energy, though, that it's like you're putting the work in a very smart kind of way, very intelligent kind of way, but the blockage or the delay is somehow connected to wisdom and not knowing the full extent of something here. It's for some of you, there's like a blockage. It's like learning of some sort. It is learning of some sort that's necessary here. Like wisdom, external wisdom. I do feel like it's external wisdom that's necessary here to overcome this blockage. And to maybe, you need to maybe put in a bit of extra work to, for someone here, it's like therapy based. Sometimes the Owls card does refer to therapy. It's like there is this background noise that's creating some blockages for you. So for some of you, it could be that little voice in the back of your head is creating this background chatter in your head that is not the wisest voice coming forward. Does that make sense? It's creating more work for you because you're listening to the voices. And so you're actually needing to listen to the external voices more to overcome these challenges. It's one of those messages, Sagittarius, where it's giving very Tyler's Tarot. I'm not connecting with this read, because when I get that message of Tyler Tarot, I'm not connecting to this read, it's telling me that I don't need to understand what I'm saying, that you are the one that this is for, and it will resonate for you, and you will understand exactly what this is about when you need to. Or you may even already resonate with that, because for some of you something happened, on the 21st, around that solstice, around the changeover from Sagittarius to Capricorn, that is making Capricorn season like a little bit harder for you, because there's missing wisdom. The blockage is missing wisdom. The middle of the month, we see the tree and the clover. So you need to take care of yourself. This has got to do with your self-growth, your self-healing. So once again, that inner wisdom, I'm getting, therapy-based stuff once again, because the tree does talk about taking care of your own health. I am strongly getting, for a lot of you, this has got to do with mental health, and the blockages that you're experiencing within your own mental health. For some of you, there is the need to seek further wisdoms, further education, further therapy, professional therapy, in order to overcome this blockage. It's like you've hit a wall. It's like you've done so much work healing and growing within yourself and maturing within yourself that you have now hit a bit of a wall, and it's time to sort of jump in the deep end and really, really focus in on the learning, the education that is that gap that is missing. And it's time to take a chance, take a risk, to actually seek professional help, to seek further knowledge on how to overcome this within yourself. The end of the month, we have the crossroad in the book, deciding to get the knowledge you need, to deciding to learn, choosing to learn, choosing to, follow the path of learning as much as you can in order to find that wisdom that you're missing, to fill the gap. Okay, so I do feel as though this month there's something coming through about your mental health and some sort of blockage, like you've hit a wall here somehow, somewhere, and you're needing to actually take a chance to invest in choosing the path of wisdom, choosing the path to learn more about how to help yourself and look after yourself and heal and grow in a more mature way. It's like you may need to meet with a professional. Okay, we have on the bottom here the Garden and the Tower. Anything else that Sagittarius needs to know for January 2026, please? Anything else Sagittarius needs to know for January, please? We have the Tower, we have the Clouds, we have the Anchor. Professional, isolating the thoughts that are causing the issues, isolating the thoughts from your foundation, the structure that you've been, raised to believe about yourself. Finding the thoughts that are causing the issues. Finding a professional will stabilize you. You need to be able to this is it. It goes from stuck to secure. Okay, so you're stuck, and you need to turn that stuck energy into a more secure, dependable thing that's holding you steady through the future. And pinpoint. It's talking about pinpointing the part of your core, your foundation, that is causing you to be stuck. So for some of you here, that's the clue, is there's something within your structure, your foundation. For a lot of you, this is your childhood, okay? Something from the way that you were raised, and it's like a core belief that you have that needs to change, that needs to, that's what's holding you stuck right now, and that's what's made you hit this wall with your self-growth and your learning, okay? So you find that thing. You may need a professional. For some of you, I'm definitely getting a lot of professional energy coming through, like therapy type energy coming through. Take the chance to follow that path and seek the help that you need. It may be a risk that you feel like you're taking to do that, but it's what you need to overcome that blockage. Okay, Sagittarius. So that's what we're seeing for you. You're more than welcome to check your other placements, but that's what we're seeing for the predominant energy for you in January. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and we will move on over to Capricorn. Okay, Capricorn, what is going on for my Capricorns in January 2026? Starting the new year off with a bang, Capricorn. Has everyone got New Year's plans as of now? Let me know what they are. Let me know when your birthday is. Happy birthday, Capricorn. January 2026 for Capricorn. Awesome energy already, Capricorn. Let's have a look. Start, middle, and end of January. Starting the month off, we have the Book and the House. This is very interesting energy. Learning something. This is a secret about your family being revealed, I feel, for a lot of you at the start of January. A secret about your house. A secret about, maybe some of you got a secret room. Oh, secret energy to do with your house or your home or your family, Capricorn. It's also learning more about your own sense of stability and security in the world, like what makes you feel stable, what makes you feel safe and secure, and learning more about that. This is definitely some sort of learning or education, things being revealed, the next chapter in your security and stability. Unknown, something unknown as well. There's definitely something unknown there too, Capricorn. Just we know I always go over and above and beyond for Capricorn. It is my sign, so I get nosy. Clarify that energy for the start of January for Capricorn, please. Secret house. Who's got a secret house? Have the tree and the letter. Some of you, this is communication from a Virgo. Oh, I'm excited. I just saw for myself what that might mean for myself. I have a Virgo sister that I have not. It's a long story, Capricorn, but she went missing years ago. I might receive some news about her. That's exciting. Secret house, secrets being revealed, something being revealed, learning more about something. It most likely is coming in the form of paperwork or some sort of communication. This quite literally for some of you, this is like the deeds to a house that you didn't know existed. Family tree. For a lot of you, this is family related. Family. It can also to do with health and healing. This is normally the card of taking care of oneself. But I feel like this is actually something to do along with, family taking care of you rather than you taking care of yourself. A secret being revealed that is like, or something, a mystery being examined, communicated, expressed to you in some way, that actually it heals something in you. It takes care of you in some way. Who's got the secret house, Capricorn? Someone's getting like, that's so interesting, Capricorn. Let me know when that happens because that feels really exciting. There's like there's an excitement to that. It's because, even beyond what I'm feeling for my own energy there, like I said, that came to me right as I was seeing that energy for you, Capricorn. This is a collective reading. It's not just for me. Some of you, it may be your own wisdom that unlocks this, your own learning, your own research, your own education that unlocks this secret somehow. But it feels very exciting. It feels like it's good. It does feel very positive, and it leads to your healing and your growth in some kind of a way. The middle of the month, we see the clouds and the key. Thinking about opportunity. Some of you, this is overthinking, which is typical Capricorn, right? Overthinking every possible scenario here, but it's like you're thinking about all the doors that this might open to you. Thinking about what door does this key open? Maybe, the secret house, it unlocks a new part of yourself or unlocks a new opportunity for you in some way, and it kind of sends you into this flurry of thinking of like so many things to plan for and think about here. Be careful with the overthinking because it may lead to a little bit of anxiety and stress there as well. Or there may be something about some of these opportunities that are a little bit stressful just in their own way because of how much planning and thought needs to go into these. It's kind of like, if you open a door and then there's a hallway with multiple other doors. and you've got to think carefully about which door you're going to open in which order, and you know, you're thinking carefully and trying to plan, you know, what does that door open, and what will that lead to. So you're trying to really think through what opportunities are available here, and what you're going to do from there, kind of thing. It's kind of like, it's giving chess strategy, like trying to get steps ahead, like you're trying to think multiple steps ahead, that if I open this door and that leads to this opportunity, then what comes after that, and what steps do I need to take after that, and what other opportunities will that unlock, so that I can see all my opportunities that are presented to me and take the best one, because I'm seeing ahead, I'm strategizing, and I'm planning it out well enough that I can, you know, plan ahead. I'm 5 steps ahead of the game here. Sudden change to your foundation at the end of the month. We have the Scythe and the Tower. I just want to clarify that Scythe. Clarify the Scythe for Capricorn, please. Okay, so there is a clearing out with that Scythe as well. Okay, the Scythe sometimes breaks us free from things that are holding us back. It cuts things out of our life that are no longer serving us. We see that here clarified by the Moon and the Broom. Okay, so emotional tension, you're clearing out anything that, you know, any tension or drama that, you know, you're emotionally sensitive to. You're cutting that out. You're clearing that out of your energy. You're sweeping it away from your, you know, clearing house kind of thing here, clearing out those old emotions that aren't serving you anymore. Especially because we have the Tower there as well. And so the Tower talks about our foundation, our core. So you're breaking free from something that has maybe held you back. That's got to do with, you know, the structure of the core of who you are, the tradition. Like, you've had this tradition of doing things a certain way, and you're realizing it just causes you emotional tension. So you're clearing that out. You're breaking free from that energy. For a lot of you, this has got to do with, you know, I am picking up on a bit of maybe childhood trauma for some of you here, because we see a lot of emotion there that needs to be released, kind of thing. And it's created a lot of tension and drama in the past for you. There is a clearing out of that occurring at the end of the month here. It's like, so that we can rebuild that foundation within ourselves, that structure of who we are, you know, from the ground up. We can rebuild. And, you know, there may be a period of isolation here at the end of the month where you're kind of needing to, you know, rebuild your emotional fortitude. So you may need to just sort of isolate yourself a little bit from the world in order to do so, Capricorn. Anything else that Capricorn needs to know about for January, please? Any other messages for Capricorn in January, please? Have the Book again, followed by the Fox in the Garden. So this is once again educating yourself, unraveling mysteries about how to do what you need to do to survive, social situations, or in a public kind of way, taking care of yourself, focusing on your own survival. Compromise is coming through as well, but you're putting your own needs first here, and you're learning how to take care of yourself, learning how to you know, meet others with a more intelligent, you know, doing what you need to do for the sake of social energy, meetings, compromise. You're learning how to do what you need to do for yourself and get the most out of the situation for your own survival. But it's in a very public kind of a way, very social kind of a way. To be honest, this feels a little bit manipulative, but I don't think it's a bad thing. Like, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. You're learning how to manipulate social situations to suit you, just a little bit better. But it's a compromise. It is it involves compromise, and I don't feel as though this is a negative thing. It feels positive. So I feel like for a lot of you, Capricorn, in the past, maybe that's part of this foundational issue that we're seeing here, is that in the past you have cared more about others and doing what others have wanted, and now you're learning how to actually take care of yourself a little bit more when it comes to those sorts of situations, whereas in the past you maybe have put others before your own needs, and you're kind of learning a little bit more about your own independence in the situation. Okay, so that's what we're seeing for you this month, Capricorn. You're more than welcome to check your other placements. Definitely subscribe to the channel, and we will move on over to Aquarius. Okay, Aquarius. What's going on for Aquarius in January 2026? Okay, Aquarius, January 2026 for Aquarius, please. Start, middle, and end of January. Looks like a good month for you, Aquarius. The start of the month, we see the lily and the anchor. Okay, so we're relying a lot more on, knowing ourselves and trusting our own emotional self. Okay, becoming a little bit more intimate with our own emotions and knowing our vulnerabilities, which then enables us to stay steady and hold ourselves steady and rely on ourselves. And this is long-term changes taking place that are sort of helping you rely on yourself just a little bit more. Being kinder to yourself in a sort of long-term kind of a way here. You're not stuck anymore. You're realizing that you're not stuck, that you're actually, it's not a stuck energy that you're feeling. It's I can rely on that energy. I don't have to feel like I'm stuck. I know that I can rely on that from myself. The middle of the month, we have the clouds and the sun coming through. Okay, so your thoughts are on your own happiness. We do see a lot of personal epiphanies, that you're working through in your mind space throughout the middle of the month here, because the sun really brings things to light, and it really brings things to light in regards to the way that you think. Okay, because the clouds is your thoughts, and the sun, parts the clouds. So the way that you've been thinking when it comes to, overthinking, and especially overthinking in a negative kind of way, like maybe you've been looking at things with the cup half empty, the sun allows you to then actually see the alternate version of where the cup is half full, and you're now sort of leveling yourself out a lot. Especially with that anchor there at the start of the month, you really are leveling yourself out a lot this month on an emotional level, which is then going on into your thought processes and the way that you think about things, and your logical and rational thinking is leveling out as well in the process here, and you're more focused on what makes me happy and where is happiness in my life, and focusing on gratitude and happiness and bringing some things to light within yourself about the way that you've been thinking about things, and realizing that, the only one holding you back and keeping you stuck has been you yourself. And that the way that you're, alternate thinking is coming through very muchly here, where, in the past you may have been feeling stuck. Now you're actually feeling, okay, I'm not feeling stuck. It's not stuck. It's reliable, dependable energy. And so just that little shift in perspective of the way that you're thinking about that that anchor energy, it enables you to move towards the sun a little bit more, a little towards your own happiness a little bit more, and focus a little bit more on what actually makes you happy, what makes you feel optimistic, hopeful, and positive. Okay, so we are seeing, it starts off with a shift in your emotional concepts, and being kinder to yourself on an emotional, vulnerable level, and being very intimate with the truth of oneself, and that actually enables your rational, logical thinking to sort of catch up as well, and balance out as well. The end of the month, we do see the dog and the house. So we see a lot of stabilizing energy here as well. The dog really defends your house, which is your comfort zones, and the things that make you feel safe and secure. It really defends those things, and it's like it's man's best friend. So you're finding a lot of stability in friendships, and those sorts of things. The people that you can rely on for support, there is a lot of stability coming from those at the end of the month here as well. It's honestly very loyal energy, loyal to your own security and stability, your own mental and emotional stability. You're staying very loyal to that, and you know that you can depend on that now because you understand it a little bit more. By the end of the month there, it's kind of like I can be my own friend first. I maybe have a lot of friends around me with a lot of reliable energy, but I can rely on myself now as well. I don't need to rely on them as much. I can support myself through this as well. Anything else that Aquarius needs to know in regard to January? Anything else that Aquarius needs to know through January 2026, please? We have the bouquet, the flowers there, followed by the crossroad and the owls. Okay, so you're giving to yourself a lot more fairly. You're making wiser decisions, better decisions for yourself. Okay, and it all starts off with this very reciprocal energy that you're giving what you're getting. So if you're giving people love and happiness, you start receiving love and happiness. If you're giving your thoughts a positive spin, you receive positive in return. And you're putting a lot more time, love, and energy into yourself, and then you start receiving more time, love, and energy, from everything else around you as well. You're making wiser decisions. Okay, the choices that you're making, they're more mature, they're wiser. You're able to understand them a lot better. You're able to understand yourself a lot better, and understand that the more that you give to the path that you wish to be on, the more that you receive that journey of that path. Whereas in the past, I feel like for a lot of you, you've been giving a lot of energy and time to things that you don't want in your life. And then, when you do that, I kind of call it accidental manifestation. All right. So the more that you're focusing on, I don't want this in my life, I don't want that in my life, what you're actually doing is telling the universe, this is what I'm focused on. These things that I don't want is what I'm focused on. So the universe goes, okay, well, go on that path then, and you end up with more of what you don't want, because that's the energy that you're sending out there to the universe. Is you're so focused on that and that and that, that's what the universe thinks that you want. And so you start manifesting those things and more of those things. So if you're focused on negativity, you start manifesting negativity. Whereas if you're focused on positivity, you start manifesting positivity. Okay, so it's a strong month for you, Aquarius, and you will find that you are making a lot of better decisions about where you're giving your energy to, and where you're giving your time and your love to this month, and you start receiving the things that you actually want this month, because it's like the end of the month. It's like you kind of get some sort of reward for all the work that you've been doing into the positive energy. Because the more that you've been giving to that positive energy, you start actually receiving back. I feel like a lot of you are going to get some sort of a gift from the universe, a gift of happiness, a gift of positivity, a gift of time or love being given to you rather than taken from you. Okay, so that's what we're seeing for you. You're more than welcome to check your other placements as well. Subscribe to the channel And we will finish off with our Pisces. Pisces. January messages for Pisces. What's going on for Pisces in January 2026? January for Pisces, please. Start, middle, and end of January for our Pisces. Not going to lie, Pisces, starting the month off a little bit rough here. We see the mountain and the fox coming through first for you. So there is an obstacle, a blockage here that you're needing to put in a little bit of work at the start of the month to overcome that. You need to, it's kind of, they're both very intelligent kind of energies. The fox is, very, very clever kind of energy, but it's kind of telling me that, the blockage is actually in that fox energy, but it can also, you're needing to put work into that fox energy to solve that blockage. So it's like you're being very logical and rational with the way that you're thinking at the start of the month here. But, the fox does what it needs to do to survive. And but it can sometimes be a little bit overly focused on itself. It's very independent energy, very, dare I say, selfish energy. Okay. And so you need to really think about the areas of yourself where you're being a little bit selfish, Pisces, because that's actually creating a little bit of a blockage, because it's telling me it's kind of become a habit. All right. Which is it's not necessarily a bad thing. But you've created this habit of being a little bit selfish or manipulating, manipulating situations so that you get what you want out of the situation. But in the past, it's been because that's the best way to survive these situations, right? But it's now become a blockage because you don't need to survive anymore. So continuing to do what you needed to do when you were in a survival situation, when you're in a safe situation, that's not necessarily the best way to do things. So it's kind of asking you to get out of that survivor instinct a little bit here. So it's telling me, some of you maybe are having that, fight or flee or that stress reaction, where you do what you've got to do to survive. But now you're in a safe zone. And so it's a blockage. It creates a blockage when you're safe to be in that way. That you're so used to things being anxiety inducing or stressful or, where you've got to survive. But then when you don't need to survive that situation anymore, and it's actually become a habit, that's when it becomes a blockage. All right. So you are just needing to think about that a little bit and put a little bit of work in order to overcome that blockage, because it is just showing me that it's not really like a huge, big drama for you, but it's just asking you to really assess that within yourself, so that you can get through that blockage and, put in a little bit of extra work and with determination and perseverance that you will overcome that. No drama. And it will bring around this huge, big change for you as soon as you break free from that survival energy. All right, because it's telling me straight out that you don't need to survive anymore. The survival thing, it's not part of your life right now, Pisces. That's been and gone. You survived it already. You now are in a safe zone. So as soon as you break free from that and put an end to that affecting you as a blockage, because that's what's happened, right? You now need to transform all that energy that you're putting into surviving, transform that into something new. And it will create a lot of change for you really, really quickly. All right. So you're changing that within yourself. And, I feel like for a lot of you, this is asking you to just do a little bit of internal assessing and do a little bit of work on yourself here of, what have I been surviving and why am I still acting this way out of survival, when I don't need to survive that anymore. And how has that created a blockage within me myself? So as soon as I can break free from that and cut that out, then the transformation really begins, okay? Because that ending brings around a brand new beginning for you, Pisces. And we do see that happening here at the end of the month. We have the ship and the cross coming through, so you're starting brand new adventures. You're moving through that energy very quickly. It appears, that transformation brings a lot of new energy in for you with this ship. It may bring in travel for some of you here, relocation for a couple of you here, but it's more about starting this new journey within your own soul, your own spirituality, your own, the way that you have faith in yourself and the universe. Okay, that it's kind of enabling you to journey through any burdens or that you've held on to, and relieve yourself of those burdens, and move on to, sunny seas ahead, rather than getting stuck in responsibilities and duty and burden. You're now actually able to start having faith again, kind of thing. Start trusting that the universe is sorting everything out for you. As long as you keep moving forward, it's like you're finding faith in yourself again, Pisces. Anything else going on for Pisces in January, please? What else does Pisces need to know in regard to January 2026? Is that, just clarify that message for Pisces, please? Definitely learning more about yourself and the way that you have been seeing things, Pisces, especially when it comes to your sense of fulfillment and love for yourself. We have the feminine, the fish, and the star. So Pisces, straight away, a couple of you are meeting a financial goal in January. You're having a financial wish come true in January, or you're setting yourself and nurturing, planting the seed to have those financial goals mature for you. But for a lot of you here, we do see, the heart and the book as well. So this is finding love for oneself again, and feeling that sense of contentment and unconditional love for yourself, and learning how to love yourself again, just plain and simple. Learning how to nurture positive thoughts and hopes and dreams for yourself. Learning how to actually start focusing on moving forward, rather than being stuck in this survival energy that you have been. You're transforming that into, okay, well, now that I don't have to survive anymore, what can I do next? What can I aim for now? What can I move towards? Rather than being trapped in the past or anything like that, I now have this sense of contentment, and I can learn where that can take me from here. This kind of goal setting kind of energy. For some of you, outright, you're getting some sort of financial goal achieved in January as well. Okay, so I like that for you, Pisces. Overall, that is a positive message. It just does ask you to do a little bit of work on yourself at the start of the month there, and ask yourself, where are you actually, being very honest with yourself and asking yourself, where are you actually being a little bit too selfish, and like I said, it's selfishness or manipulative based upon a past need to survive situations, but it's not a current need to survive. So you need to address that within yourself. Okay. So that's what we're seeing for you, Pisces. I do feel like you guys are moving into a really good shift this year, I think. So you might have some things just happening very unexpectedly. I feel like around the middle of the month, there may be some unexpected windfall for a couple of you there as well. So bring it on. But that's what we've got for you. More than welcome to check your other placements, of course. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all again soon.